Welcome to Limitless Property Podcast. Today I have the king of Coffs real estate with me, Sean Campbell from PRD. Sean, mate, how you going?
Good, Bill. Thanks for having me, mate.
It's no worries at all, mate. I've got a few things to talk about today, and I reckon I want to have a chat about the whole Coffs market. So not really any better person to do that with than you, I think. But where I want to start is early life for you. So when you left school, was real estate the first job you had? Did you get into it straight away, or what did you do?
No, actually, I had a long road into real estate. When I finished school, I actually started at university. I finished school and went straight up to the Gold Coast and spent about 12 months up there. I actually started a business degree, which...
How'd that go?
Now, I probably should have completed that degree. At the time, probably went to uni a bit young in that sense.
So you're 18, fresh out of school, went
to
uni?
Yeah, straight out of school, went to uni. I had a girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, but she sort of went to Sydney. I went to the Gold Coast. She didn't stay in Sydney for very long, ended up in the Gold Coast with me. Then after a year, I kind of made a decision that I didn't want to be there anymore.
Yep.
And
didn't like it?
Just the whole thing around the Gold Coast. I went to Griffith Uni, and it had just started. Griffith Uni hadn't been open that long.
Yep.
And it was sort of everyone that went to school on the Gold Coast went to Griffith Uni, and so it was kind of not the friendliest of environments, and I didn't really enjoy it. So one day Steph said to me, I think I want to go back to Sydney. I said, all right, well, I'll do that too. And so we went to Sydney, and I actually intended on maybe just getting a job, but I applied for a uni course down there, and I ended up getting into a health science PDHPE at University of Western Sydney, and I completed that degree.
So you're PE teacher.
I have a bachelor's degree in health science. I never did my dip ed though, so I can't actually be a teacher in that sense, and I never wanted to be a teacher. So the funny thing about that, though, is whilst I was doing that degree, you asked me what my first job was. Well, my first job was actually I worked at Domino's Pizza in Coffs Harbour, and so did my wife.
At what age?
So I started there when I was 15.
And you met your wife at 15 at Domino's?
Well, my wife and I have actually gone to school together since we were in year 2. So we have known each other for a very long time, but, yeah, we didn't get together until about 17. But yeah, we worked together. We work together again now, which is cool. But no, from there, I actually, when we went to Sydney, worked at Foot Locker.
Yep.
And it was Foot Locker on Pitt Street, and I went to uni. That was my casual job, and that's sort of where I got my first taste of sales in any sense. Again, never had any intention of working in real estate. My dad owned PRD Coffs Harbour, which is the business that I own now.
Yep.
But yeah, it was really my first taste of sales, and I was only casual. It was fun. It was a fun job to have. At the time.
Were you good at selling shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really
straight
good.
away. Really?
I was really good at it. And
what was the secret to selling shoes?
Well, it was about giving people service.
Yeah.
So the lady that employed me, Mel, she employed myself and another guy who was from Dubbo.
Yep.
We were the country boys, and we were the ones that actually did the best because we had a different way of talking to people in that sense.
Because you actually spoke to them, listened to what they said.
Yeah. And so I only worked casually, probably 12 hours a week. I didn't do a lot, but it was just fun. And so that was sort of where I first started. I finished uni, and as I said, my degree sort of led towards being a PE teacher, and I never in my wildest thoughts thought
wasn't interested.
I didn't want to be a teacher. That wasn't for me. But we actually got to a point where I'd finished uni, my wife finished uni. She did nursing, so she became a nurse. And I was like, oh, well, I don't really know what I'm going to do. Through Mel, who had employed me at Foot Locker, she had her husband, who was actually working at Rebel Sport in their head office.
Yep.
And so she said to me one day, Sean, like, this is not a career for you. I'm sure you probably want to do something else rather than standing on the retail floor selling shoes all your life. And she said, so Pete actually has some opportunities at Rebel. Did you want to talk to him?
What were you doing there? Selling shoes and clothes.
So I actually went to Rebel head office.
Yeah.
And I ended up working in the licensed apparel and football boots like area of head office. So I was an assistant buyer. So it was sort of working on the other side of sales in that sense. So it was still sales related, but you were more buying the product that was coming in. So we'd go and see ranges and like pick the football boot range for the year, and like, so you can imagine like with licensed apparel, like for every football team, they've got a key ring, like they have everything. The whole thing. So we were looking at everything, and so that was a fun time. Part of the benefit of working there was that every brand wanted to kind of woo you. So I'd get tickets to every sporting event you can imagine.
That's good.
Like, it was awesome. I got to take my mates as well, and a lot of it was corporate stuff too. So it was really
Living
good.
the high life.
Yeah, and so again, still sort of in that sporting goods industry. Then whilst I was working at Rebel, I had the guys from Puma approach me and asked me if I wanted to be a sales rep for them. And I sort of thought about that and I went, yeah, okay, I'll do that. So then for a few years I did travelling sales rep. So I was based in Leichhardt. Actually, I was talking to a girl yesterday who lives in Leichhardt, who was here for she was working for realestate.com, and I was like, oh, I used to work on Norton Street. And she was like, what?
I live
and
there.
So, yeah, we used to have like our head office on Norton Street in Leichhardt, which was cool. And that was fun. Again, like I had a good time.
Yeah.
But, and my wife the whole time, she was nursing, like she was a theatre nurse. And then she turned around and said to me one day, hey, do you want to go travelling? And I was like, sure. So we just literally, when we were 20, we were already married. So we got married when we were 23. So it must have been 25. We just chucked everything in and
went
overseas, moved to London.
Oh, good. Where'd you go? London, everywhere?
Yeah,
or just London?
Yeah, we based ourselves in London and then sort of just travelled around Europe a bit. Completely different part of my life. I worked at a pub.
Yep.
Had never done that before. It was fun for a couple of years. And so that was also a good time. But then the part about that was we had to eventually come back to Australia, and we came back to Sydney. Again, my wife had work there, like it was easy, and it was at that point that I had to get another job, and this time through my contacts previously, I ended up working for Adidas in sales. So
mate, we're still a long way from real estate. I thought this was going to be real estate straight out the gate.
So we ended up doing that, and then the part of real estate that sort of came into it, because I was at Adidas for a couple of years, and again, that was great. But what I found with income was that in order to make extra money, you had to have global make budget. Then you had to have, so you were reliant, your income was reliant on everyone else making their budget. So it didn't matter how much I grew my territory and how much extra money I made for Adidas.
Right.
I would only get paid my bonus if everyone else made their targets.
Yeah, so it was like a team sport.
Yep.
And if you done really well and the rest of the team didn't, too bad.
Yeah, you didn't get your bonus.
Yeah.
So I kind of struggled with that concept because I'm like, why am I working so hard? And so I sort of had thought about coming back to Coffs to work for my dad. And it sort of came to a head when my wife fell pregnant, and we're also looking to buy a house in Sydney. And we were going to areas that, like, we didn't want to live in, but we were almost forced to buy in if we wanted to. And so then one day we thought, oh, well, maybe we should consider moving back to Coffs. And so I called up my dad and said, look, this is what we've been thinking. Steph's pregnant. Like, we don't really want to raise kids in Sydney. And at first he was kind of like, no, you need to keep doing your thing in Sydney. So at this stage I was 27. And I was like, yeah, okay. So a few weeks later, I was like, can't do this anymore. So I rang my mum and I was like, Mum, this is what we really want to do. Mum spoke to Dad. All of a sudden I had a job.
Perfect.
So then I came into real estate, and if it's one of those careers that I wish I'd started when I was much younger, and I'd started at the very, very bottom, like as in doing reception. I didn't do that. I came in as a sales associate, so I worked with our lead salesperson at the time.
So you got thrown in the deep end, really, because you didn't learn the whole admin side of it, how to fill in a contract, how to get it to whoever's signing it, all that sort of thing.
And back then, so we're talking 2010. Back then, it was the process of getting your certificate of registration and your license and all that sort of stuff was so much simpler than it is now. So you didn't really learn anything. Like, the course now is designed so that you actually learn a lot more. Like, you could have done the course so easily then. Real estate went from, like, when my dad did his license, he had to do a TAFE course. He had to go to TAFE every, like, fortnight for, like,
it was a proper degree back in the day.
Yeah, it was a proper course. And then it went to, you could get it off the back of a cardboard box to now where it's probably back to where it should be with regards to getting your license. So I basically had my dad, who he'd stopped listing and selling property probably 3 years before I started. So he had two salespeople. One of them exited the business when they knew I was coming in, because I think they thought, like, his succession plan would be me and not them in that sense. And that's fine, like, that happens in real estate. His other lead salesperson stayed, and I ended up working under her for a couple of years. That was interesting because I was basically a 28-year-old, and I had a fair bit of life experience, but I also had a brand new baby.
So you needed the income as well.
Yeah, but for me, doing that, it was pretty tough because I was being paid a wage, but I still had to work 6 days a week, and I didn't get any free kicks from my dad. I love my dad to bits, but there was no free kicks. Like, I had to earn an income. He couldn't just afford to just pay me for doing nothing. So I was working 6 days a week, worked my butt off for a couple of years. The agent that I was working for, she was probably took advantage of me a little bit in that sense, but it kind of just got me to a point where I was like, you know what, I can do this myself. So
you would have learned quick because you got a lot thrown on your plate.
100%, yeah. The only thing that I wish had happened was that I wish that my dad hadn't stopped listing and selling, because in that time, the other agents, he'd pushed all of his clients to them. So then when I went out on my own, it was like me having to just build my own database. So again, I didn't get any free kicks in that sense. My family, the part for me about real estate in Coffs is that I'm a third generation real estate agent. My grandfather, like,
he was in real estate too.
Yeah, so there used to be, like, I don't know, back in the 70s, 80s, there was a little building on Park Beach Road, and my grandparents used to do real estate and holiday letting.
So, wow, cool.
Yeah, and so I sort of came from a background of real estate and sales, and so when I actually went out on my own, for me it was about just building relationships with people. I see myself as a good communicator. And
So you had to build a database. How did you go? Day one, you're into sales, you got to build a database. What was the first thing you did?
So the first thing you do is you call your circle of influence.
Yep.
You call your friends, your family. You call all those people and you tell them what you're doing. Like that's one of the mistakes I think sometimes that like people coming into real estate, they don't understand that your easiest leads can come from your inner circle.
That's what I did the first year. That's all I did. Yeah, friends, family.
Correct. Yeah, and it makes it so much easier because cold calling sucks.
Oh yeah,
like
for sure.
I've never been big on cold calling. I've been more on about building relationships through people you know, without name dropping as such, but like just finding a common ground with somebody about somebody who they know, and having that conversation. Yeah. Like that's kind of something, and letting people see your personality a bit too. I think like real estate is one of those things where like agents can be seen to be
wankers.
Yeah. Let's put it bluntly.
Yeah.
But I think it's really sad because it's the minority.
Yeah, for sure.
That give that impression about the majority of real estate agents.
The least Merc, the brand new suit.
Yeah. But it is a shame. I mean, there's things that are out in the media at the moment about Josh Teslin. Yeah. And like to me, I just go, what an idiot. Like why? Yeah. Like why do that? You've got all the money in the world. And
for an extra, couple $1 million a year when you're already earning $7 million.
Yeah. So it's people like him, and obviously the media jumps all over something like that. And real estate agents aren't liked most of the time, so it's kind of doesn't help. So but I mean,
he's not copping much for that really though. He's still got a coaching business and all that sort of thing. So I don't think there's been much done really.
It's funny, we got an email yesterday from the REI, New South Wales REI, and all it said is, like it was to everyone that is part of REI. It just said, we've removed Josh Teslin's membership. Yeah, thank you, members. That's it. But it's one of those industries where there is a lot of tall poppy syndrome, but that is what it is. So but I guess going back to like when I first started, it's still now. I've been doing this for 16 years, but it doesn't seem like that.
Doesn't feel like that long.
No,
it feels like it's just started.
Yeah, well,
really,
but that's probably partly to do with where we're at now in the business. I mean,
in the business now, you have now took over the business. You're the owner. You're the director. Bought the business.
Didn't take over. Yep,
paid cold hard cash for the business.
I paid my dad a significant amount of money for the business.
Yep, that's good. And now you are obviously the director, but you're still selling as well.
Yep. So what happened was, and actually, I guess
does everyone think that you got it for free? Is that what?
Yeah. That's what
standard.
Yeah, but what I say to that is that
you're going to get that all the time.
I've got brothers and sisters. Yeah. So I know I'm a fair person. So like there was never any doubt that I was going to buy my dad out, because that money is not my.
Well, you can't
money.
give one kid something and
Exactly.
the rest just say, oh, well, unlucky, you weren't there.
Yeah. So I just paid him out at market value for what it
That's
was.
Good.
And so that process, it took a long time.
Yeah.
My dad was 70 before he finally retired.
You didn't want to stop, mate.
He's still not finally retired, but he's sort of retired. But there was probably a process that started just before COVID. Yep. And we started talking about it then. And when COVID hit, I remember we sat down and Dad was like, well, who knows what's going to happen? So I better hold on.
Buy this now.
I better hold on.
He's going to hold on to it.
Yeah, I better hold on to the reins here. So he did.
I thought he was going to say, I don't know what's going to happen. So
no. So we sat down and like we did what a lot of people did, and we sort of panicked a little bit. So put some people on leave. We like said to people that had lots of holidays, you should probably take some holidays and all that sort of stuff. Within 3 weeks,
all turned around.
The market had just gone mad.
Yeah.
And we had properties sitting on our board that had been sitting there for 6 to 12 months, and all of a sudden they were selling for more than the asking price, and we were kind of like, what's going on here?
But they weren't just selling for more than the asking price here. They were going for 600, would go for 680. All that type of thing, which hadn't happened for a fair few years before that, because it had been fairly quiet. Well, it boomed from 2017. It done all right from 2017 to 2020.
Yeah.
But then from mid 2020 to about 2022, mid 22, 23, it just done about 60%.
Yeah, and it was really hot there for a period of time for about 6 months as well, where it was just like complete and utter madness for that period. But yeah, it was sort of funny though, because I got too busy then to even worry about what was going on with the business. And so once that had kind of subsided a little bit, I then sort of started talking to my dad about it again, and he was like, yeah, okay. And then it sort of came to the point where I went and got some commercial finance.
Yep.
And I walked in, I said, finance is in place, Dad, I'm getting the contract organised.
I'm ready. Do you want money or not?
And I organised the contract. He just signed it, and I signed it. And yeah, it all happened. But
good.
Yeah.
So I remember you were talking about it for a while. So when did it happen? When did the sale go through?
So that was February last year is when we settled.
Cool. So 2025.
Yep.
Because I was talking to you about it when I looked at a property with you on, was it Oscar Ramsey? Remember that one? It backed onto the highway?
Yes. Yeah.
In that would have been June, July 21.
Yep.
So you were in the process then.
Yeah.
And then it took a few years, and then finally came to a head.
Took a lot of years, yeah. So it was partly my dad. That's all he knows.
Yeah.
And so part of him letting go of the business was his sort of letting go of his identity. A little bit.
Yeah.
So when it happened, the intention at that point for us was that I would just run the business, continue doing my sales, and everything would just stay the same, except for the fact that I probably had more of a growth mentality. My dad, he didn't have any debt in the business. He was like, he's financially okay. So
had the cash flow coming in.
Yeah, he'd take his drawings and just happy days, and I'd work towards retirement. He wasn't really working though. That was that was part of it. So and if he watches this, he's probably going to have a go at me. But anyway,
I think he'd be happy that you are the one that took over the business. Anyway, I bought the business rather than someone else.
Well, it's an easier succession plan.
Yeah,
like that. If you can get someone internally, to buy your business, it is way easier than trying to sell your business to someone else.
Someone else that doesn't understand it, doesn't know how it works, doesn't understand the financials, comes and pulls it apart.
Yep.
Probably wants to negotiate on price and knock you down because they don't understand things.
Well, at that point in time, I'd worked in the business for 15 years.
Yep.
I'd sort of been helping him run it for the last 5.
Yep.
So, like, I knew the business well. And so that was February. Then I was just easing myself into business ownership, and out of the blue, I get a call from somebody, and it was a salesperson that sells rent rolls.
Right. Yep.
And out of the blue, I get this call. I said, "Oh, Sean, it's such and such. I believe you're in the market for a rent roll." And I said,
"You know more than me."
I'm like, "I just bought a rent roll." And
yeah.
He goes, "Oh, well, do you want to buy another one?" And I was like, "Let me think about that." Anyway, I went home and spoke to my wife, Steph, and I'm like, "This has happened." And she's like, "Well, how are you going to do that?" I'm like, I don't know, because it was more than it was bigger than our rent roll that we had at that time.
Right, so
it was
pretty
more
big.
than double.
Wow.
Like as in it would double our business.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I kind of balked at it a little bit. Then I spoke to the guy who does my commercial finance, and he was sort of like, oh, we can make it happen. And I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, what eventually happened was I did agree to buy it. We didn't settle on it until September last year.
Yep.
But what that meant is that in order for the business to continue running and like things still operate, because I'm still like deeply entrenched in sales.
Yeah.
It meant my wife had to give up her career.
Yep.
Which she did. And
She was keen to do that, obviously, or
well, her career, like she was a nurse, but she also has a master's in health management. So she went into more management side of things in the hospital, and then she's also a midwife. And she, during COVID, she ran the maternity unit
right.
at Coffs Hospital, and she kind of like got that was a stressful time, and so after.
So you said, here, have a nice relaxing job of property management.
No, because what happened was she actually ended up moving into working for health infrastructure.
Okay.
So still within New South Wales Health, but she actually worked from home and basically worked in the sort of planning department of health infrastructure without really having any knowledge of that sort of thing. She went in and did a job that was essentially more computer based and had nothing to do with her health background, apart from the fact that she knows how hospitals work.
Yeah.
So she did that had a contract for I can't remember how many years now. Probably 4 years, something like that. And that contract, it happened to be coming to an end, so she was sort of looking for the next thing anyway. And then when this all happened, I was like, well, management, you can come in and manage. So Steph's basically our operations manager now, and she dabbles a little bit in property management.
So did you have to put on more staff to manage that?
So this was the good part about it, is that I've been able to scale the business, bring Steph in, who's now running the business, bring in one extra property manager.
Wow.
And
double the rent roll.
That's
great.
But part of that is on Steph, because she's brought in a lot of efficiencies and there's more to come. Like, we thought it would probably be a 12-month process to kind of get everything in place. It's probably going to take a little bit longer than that. But she's brought so many efficiencies into the business that it enables it to run a lot more smoothly.
With less people.
And
how many people in total in the business now?
So we've got, I can't remember off the top of my head. We have 4, 7, 9, 10, 11.
11? Yeah, good.
Yeah, so there's 11 of us in the office now. 4 in sales, 3 full-time property managers, an admin assistant that dabbles in sales admin and property management admin. Steph. I also have we generally run with a casual of some description that comes in. Normally, like, we've been lucky, we've had a couple of girls that have just finished school, ladies I should say, that have just finished school, that one of them I knew her dad. She came in and worked for us for a period of time, really smart, and just helped us with stuff. So we probably 10, 11 staff is what we hover around. I've got some, we've got some growth targets for our property management business, which will probably mean I'll need to bring on one more property manager.
Are you going to buy more rent rolls or just grow it organically?
Organically,
well, it's
hopefully.
Not organic. Organic sounds like you're just getting shit given to you, but you're not. You're chasing. Yeah,
well,
chasing
you are.
The business, yeah.
I mean, we haven't, pretty much when we bought this rent roll, there's a retention period. We pretty much kept everyone that we could. There were some that had sold or some that were going to sell and they'd already told another agent that they could sell the property or whatever. Fine. But we managed to retain most of it. And so, yeah, like the growth target that we've got, it's not massive. Like we're only probably talking another 70 to 80 properties to get to where we want to be, but organically would be better. So that's sort of something that we want to do. And then on the sales side of the business, like I've been running it now for the last 3 years with just myself and Darren as our two lead sales guys. I've got an assistant, Jaden, and Darren has an assistant, Bam, now.
Yep.
That's working pretty well for us.
You're still selling a lot of properties though.
Yeah.
How are you going with time management, having a business to run, plus still operating?
So Steph takes away a lot of that stuff for me now. So my main focus is on sales and the sales team. I also was running for a long time without an assistant. So Jaden's been with me now for almost 2 years, I think.
Yep.
And that's just changed the way that I've been able to do things. Like I still, for me personally, I still have worked 6 days a week pretty much from the time that my career started. And that's by choice as well. Like I don't sit here and go, hey, look at me, I've worked 6 days a week. It's been by choice.
Yeah.
But it's so that like I have a plan that like I want to be like I'm almost 45 now. I'm not 45, but we'll be soon. And Steph and I have got a plan that we want to be out of it when we're 60.
Okay.
So build a business, get it to a level that it's running well. Build our wealth to a level where we're comfortable, and at 60, switch the button off.
Yep. And then what happens? Sell the business.
Yep. So the good part about rent rolls is that because of the recurring income.
That's what I was going to say.
That's the value in your business.
What's the average multiple on a rent roll?
So 3.2.
Right. Yep.
So that's sort of so yeah. So they're a good asset. Like banks like them.
Yeah.
It's easy to borrow money when you've got a rent roll behind you. Because of that recurring income. And that is that's the thing. That is the business. Sales can come and go. Yep.
Sales is up and down as well. Seasonal. Years where you have booms, years where you have quiet markets like we have the last few years.
Yeah.
And then your rent roll is just every month, same figure coming in.
Yeah, that's it. And so if you can structure your business so that the rent roll is producing enough that you can pay the bills and also have a little bit of profit, that's where your sales business can really generate the extra dollars.
Yep.
Yeah. So
with the rent roll as well, you're getting a 3.2 multiple on that. So you get your other 70, 80 properties or whatever that turns into, whatever the figure is now. But if you hold that another 15 years and rents double, your asset also doubles,
100%.
Which will likely happen.
Yeah. The rent roll that we bought, there was so much upside in it. And when I say upside, and this is with all due respect to the previous owner as well, but the rent reviews that we've been able to do with regards to what the tenants were paying and what they should be paying, I mean, it's a controversial topic, I know, around increasing rents.
Yeah, but if it's market rent, it is what it is.
But at the end of the day as well, I always say to people, we don't work in social housing. Social housing, there is a reason that there is social housing, and that's the government's responsibility. It's not my responsibility. I am in business to make money at the end of the day. Like, I don't have a business so I can be a charitable,
you got staff to pay, bills to pay.
Everyone, and that's exactly it. So the thing about increasing rents is that if costs go up for people, interest rates, all that sort of stuff, then the only place that you can get that extra money is from rent. And I get it. It sucks if you're a tenant and you get a $20 or $30 a week rent increase. But on the flip side of that, if you're an investor...
Well, if you're an investor and your rate's gone up 0.75 like they have the last few months, a lot more than $20, $30 a week.
Yep.
So,
And
that's what it is.
the only people there are to blame for that is the government, right?
Oh, not if you ask them. It's the property investors, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the government. There's nothing like so people that complain about like landlords and bad landlords and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. It's like I know I'm preaching to the converted here, but landlords aren't bad people.
No, it's ridiculous.
They buy an investment property to make money, so that one day when they retire, they can sell that and they don't have to get any benefits from the government.
Exactly.
So
and for the first 5-7 years, they're making a loss.
Yep.
So most of the time, you're renting it for less than what it costs the landlord to hold.
Yep.
And yes, they get the capital gain, but then the capital gain, if they do it right and have a few properties, then they're not relying on the government pension as well.
Yep.
Which costs the government less, but
which could change soon as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it hasn't done that well when they've tried to tinker with the housing policy lately, has it? The home guarantee scheme didn't really do much favours to the affordability of the market. It just went and the affordable, everything around Coffs, like end of last year, anything under 800 just went straight up. How did you see that on the ground?
Yeah, even now, anything between 700 and 900 grand at the moment.
Yep.
It's selling in like weeks, not months, like weeks.
And there's multiple offers on those.
100%. That's because everyone's in that same price category.
Yeah.
And again, the government's pushed everyone into that price category. So, it's...
Well, stamp duty concessions under certain limits, first home guarantee schemes, all for the lower price point. And then, then they'll come out and they'll say we're removing negative gearing because of the investors pushing the houses up.
Yeah.
It's not been the investors, it's been the government policies.
That's exactly
And then
right.
the negative gearing will come off, so the rents will go up again like they did last time.
Yep.
And they'll probably remove it.
Yep.
The rents will stay up though.
But do you know, the sad part about it is that most of our owners, they own one investment property.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
They own one investment property and they've bought that for their future.
Yep.
And they get punished now. Well, they may get punished.
Yeah.
For trying to make better for themselves in the future. So
it's over 80% of investors own one property.
Yeah.
And it's their teachers, nurses, police, all that sort of thing. They're not making millions of dollars. They're making a smart financial decision to try and improve their future.
Yeah.
And now they're going to be the ones that are
like you said, though,
impacted.
the first 5 or 6 years of owning an investment property, I own an investment property myself, and the rent doesn't cover like the mortgage repayment. The rent doesn't cover
you're in the hole for years.
Yeah. I look at my debt and I go, it'll be good when that's like below a certain figure so that the rent that I'm getting actually covers the mortgage that I'm paying. It's crazy that,
You know what sucks though? They're going to remove negative gearing, whatever, tinker with the CGT. They remove negative gearing, so it hurts the investors that have that one property. Maybe they got two because they're on the average incomes and stuff like that. The guys with 10, 20, 50 properties, they've got businesses. They're making millions of dollars. So if negative gearing's gone, they'll just go, oh, well, it's a cost of business, and not, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because they've got plenty of coin. But the mum and dads that are on the the verge, they're just getting it done because they got that investment property because it makes sense for their future.
Yeah.
But if they get rid of the negative gearing, that might mean they can't hold that property. So they sell, and the rich get richer and the poor, get poorer.
Yeah, well,
so
even of late, I've had a few investors who, even though it hasn't been announced by the government yet what is going to happen with negative gearing or CGT, there are a few investors that have already panicked and they're like, oh, I need to sell my property now in case it doesn't get grandfathered with the CGT stuff. And then
if it does get grandfathered, their property's gone. There goes their capital gain in the future.
Exactly. I had this conversation with a guy the other day, and he was sort of thinking about selling his investment so that he could put it into his own home, which is down on the Central Coast, I think, somewhere down there. So we manage this property, and he actually works in finance, this guy. So he's pretty switched on. He knows what's going on, and he's like, so I'm thinking that if this comes in and it's not grandfathered, and then I've got to work out what the difference is going to be when I sell. And he's like, maybe I should just sell it now. And I was like, yeah, but what happens if it is grandfathered? You sell now, you put this into your own home, and then you reinvest in 3 years' time. Yeah. You're not going to get that same discount anymore.
No.
And
new policies.
Yeah. And so he's like, I was like, so you don't know if you panic sell now, but then on the flip side of that, he's like, if they don't grandfather it, then I'm like in trouble anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, a lot of this stuff at the moment that the government talks about before they even do the budget stuff, it kind of annoys me a little bit because it's like, well, everyone panics and no one really knows what's going to happen.
Well, policies come and go, but I think even if they do change the CGT and they drop it to 25% or whatever they do, if you work out the numbers, it's still a cheaper way to earn income than earning income through your personal name. If you want to make a capital gain of 500 grand, you make that in earned income, you're going to pay 50% on that. But if you do it through capital gains, it actually works out a lot less, even if the CGT discount's only 25%.
Yeah.
So it's still going to make sense. And unfortunately, there's going to be people that, like you say, sell a property they shouldn't have sold and end up not as well off as they could have been.
They're behind.
So it's a pain, but is what it is. Just got to keep going.
Yep.
On the Coffs market, mate, what is happening at the moment? Give us a wrap.
Yep.
So
the start of this year, and like it's evident in some of the research as well, like the median price in Coffs for the first quarter was actually up.
Yeah.
And like when I say up, like by sort of a fair few percentage points as well. So it's actually been tracking probably the opposite to what a lot of the city markets are. Like I know Sydney and Melbourne have seen very small decreases. But like personally for the start of this year, it's been huge for me. Like I've started this year probably one of the best years that I've had. That's good. Probably because of the work that I did last year, and also having an assistant now really helps me to, I guess,
increase the volume.
But just overall, the business is also like we're getting good sales.
And properties are selling quicker, so you can do more. Yeah.
And they are, yeah. Yep. In the last probably 2 weeks, I've felt a little bit of a shift.
Yep.
And it has, like, open house numbers are starting to decrease a little bit. Is also the time of the year that we're coming into. But there is a little bit of, I guess, sentiment there that it is, and that's coming off a bit.
The budget, the negative gearing, the CGT, the war, all this stuff.
100%, yeah. I am finding, not to mention fuel prices as well.
Yeah.
I am seeing, though, rather than quantity at open homes, we're probably getting quality in that sense as well.
I've heard that from a lot of agents. There's not as many people, but if they're turning up now, then they definitely want to buy.
They're the real buyers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And like I was saying before, anything between 700 and 900, you're still getting knocked over in the rush for it.
Not much of that 700 in terms of houses left now.
No,
so you're probably realistically, 800 to get in for a house almost?
Yeah. Well, if your median's sitting around 830, 840, then that's sort of where you're at. But what I've also sold a fair few of in the last little while is 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, like single garage or single car space units in Park Beach. And I think that's because falls into that affordable category for an investor that they can still get into the market and have an investment property. And those actually rent for good money as well.
You get a 5% yield on that.
Yeah. Like you're paying $400 to $450 for a 2-bedroom unit, and you're getting $420, $430 a week rent for them. Like so they're a good, solid little investment. Yes, you've got the strata fees and stuff associated with it. Like I know you're not a big fan of buying into unit complexes.
Well, it depends. Yeah, it depends how big they are. So, if it's a high rise, then no, because your strata fees are ridiculous and you're paying for pools, gyms, saunas, elevators, all that stuff. But the low set brick stuff, like all that stuff around Park Beach or around York Street, those sort of ones, and they're in like a block of 8, 10, something like that. They're great. Yeah. 6. Yeah. Even all those ones, I mean, a few years ago, they were 200, 250.
It's crazy.
So all around Boltwood, Prince Street, all that sort of thing. So
The only thing about that, though, when they were 200 and 250, the people that were coming were like, I should have bought some of these when they were 70 and 80 grand. And I'm like, yep, me too. And then now we're talking like they're 400 to 450, and I'm like, I should have bought some of those units when they were like 200 grand. So.
Yeah. And if you're beach side of, what's that road? The one that runs up and you go to the Hoey, you got the road.
Ocean Parade.
Ocean Parade. They're probably, 500 plus, a lot of them now as well. Yeah. So they've done well.
Yeah. Oh, look, I mean, that market's one of those markets where there's more development happening there as well. I think there's a DA for another complex to go on the corner of Boltwood Street and Ocean Parade there. Yeah. So that's I think.
They need a bit more cafe stuff going on there. That'll help.
Yeah. I don't.
Great spot.
They probably haven't had the quantity of apartments there to make, like, there's Peach and Wolf down there still, but there was a cafe there that I think is closed down. There's probably hasn't been enough people there. Yeah, but I think that's another area that'll grow.
Yeah, well, people have been saying it's going to boom for years, and I mean it has, because they're gone from 50k to 500k units in the last 25 years.
Well,
but yeah, it just hasn't developed like a Sawtell. Or Gold Coast, like
you've got
that sort of thing.
Shoreline down there as well now, and that development, there's a lot of people, elderly people living in there. And I mean, again, the plaza's right there, but they're still going to go to nice cafes, restaurants, that sort of thing. So that's an area that'll continue to grow, I think.
So the units, and I agree. I think the units, villas, stuff like that, is a good investment now, because you'll get affordable prices, even in villas. If they're 550, 600, 650, you're still getting about a 5% yield.
Yep.
So if you get a 2 or 3 bed villa, you're probably going to get 600 a week rent, and you might pay 650 or 600.
Yep.
I think those are good deals. Above the median, it's going a bit slower. Is that right?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
You just don't get, well, from an investor point of view, you don't get the yield.
Yeah, so the investors are out.
So you pay $1 million for something, you might get $850 a week rent for it. It's just the yield doesn't work. But I think because in that market, like once you're paying over $1 million,
well, even if you're paying 1.2, 1.3, the max rent you're going to get here is what, 900.
Yeah.
So
you're not got investors. You've probably only got owner occupiers, downsizers, that sort of thing, and whether or not a lot of them are in that mode of needing to move. Like you've got talk of interest rate rises, you've got all that sort of stuff. But then even from someone borrowing money, you probably don't want to be borrowing $1 million at 6.5%. Yeah, like it's kind of like that's.
Well, the incomes here aren't massive.
No, you've got to have a massive income to be able to afford that. So that's probably why that end of the market doesn't really move that much. Like I've just put a couple of properties on the market, one in Diggers Beach, and it sits in that 1.5 sort of million price category. Diggers Beach is sort of a market unto itself in a sense. Like if you're a Diggers Beach buyer, you're a Diggers Beach buyer. So that one, I'm confident we'll get a good result on. And I've just listed another one up on Kratz Drive, which is actually at 1.8 to 1.9, but it is...
That's right up the top.
Yeah. Yep. And it's a massive house on a big block of land.
Views.
Yeah, views, pool, like the whole lot. It's an awesome house. And
it's probably not that expensive, really,
well,
for the land plus the build.
Yeah. Well, I've said to those owners, the other thing is the type of buyer for that isn't someone who's borrowing money. Like, it's someone who's either paying cash or close to.
Yeah.
So, again, interest rates don't really affect those type of people in that sense because they're not borrowing money from the bank. So, I think that one will probably get a good result on.
Do you see many out of town, people from Sydney selling, moving up at the moment, buying stuff like that? Or?
A little bit. Yeah. Obviously, during COVID, that was happening all the time. It's probably switched back to, like, pre-COVID, I would have said 70% was local, 30% out of town. Mm-hmm. Flipped to probably 70% out of town, 30% local during COVID. Yeah. We're probably back to more local, like, so probably 60, maybe 60-40 now. Yeah. The thing with Coffs is that, like, the general area is that there hasn't been a lot of land opening up.
No, it's not. No.
It's been one of those things, and there's some developers that, like Woolgoolga's obviously going ahead.
Moonee, all that
now.
area,
Yep, Moonee. You've also got the same developer that's doing up at Woolgoolga. They have a large development on North Bonville Road.
Okay,
So on the western side of the highway.
I haven't seen that.
There's some, they've, I think the DA's through. They'll probably start construction on that in the next.
What size lots are they?
So they'll be just residential lots from 400 square metres up to 1,000 square metres probably.
Yep.
But there's also another site next door. I don't know who owns that now, which is also a residential development. So in that North Bonville Valley area, where we are now, but just on the other side here, there's of land that's been rezoned, which took a long time, mind you, as well.
Yeah.
Too long.
That council's not the quickest. Yeah.
There's about 900 blocks of land in there.
Yeah.
So that's a real growth corridor for Coffs.
That'll be massive. 900 blocks. Yeah. Yeah. Huge.
So still close to town. So great opportunity there.
They go quick too when they're released. Like Moonee's, that second stage or third stage, whatever it is, the recent one went a month.
What's holding a lot of people back now though is because the value of land in Coffs has gone up so much as well. And we haven't even mentioned construction costs.
No.
Construction costs now with the value of land, it's actually good for pre-existing homeowners in a sense.
Sure.
Because when someone goes and looks at buying a block of land and then how much it's going to cost them to build a house on that, they go, oh, I'll just buy something that's already there. So, that's kind of stopping things a little bit. Again, cost of construction, there's only one people.
It's going to go up, yeah.
We can only blame the government again for that. So, that's sort of something that's kind of, I guess, will hurt the market a little bit.
Well, it will actually underpin it from a growth point of view, really, because the people that are looking at the blocks, realistically, you're going to be paying almost 600 at least for a block. And then if you've got to build for 600, you're in it for 1.2. So if there's an existing house that might be 20, 30 years old, but it's 950, you're going to go buy that.
Correct.
So that's going to, I think the market here will do well the next few years.
There's lots of upside. Bypass will be finished at the end of this year.
Yeah.
Which would be a huge thing. They've been talking about that since my grandfather was a real estate agent in 1970. So it's one of those things that that's something that
it makes the town so hard to get around, especially in Easter, Christmas period.
Yeah,
you want to go from one side to the other. It takes, we complain, 45 minutes. It's a long time for a regional city.
Regional town. It doesn't make any sense. So, but I think that'll obviously help us a lot. The things like the Jetty Master Plan, which is
hopefully that goes ahead. Yeah, we'll see.
Very controversial. And I hesitate to actually make comment on it sometimes, only because I'd get shot down in flames. But anyway,
I want to see it happen.
We're not all greedy real estate agents. Some of us have grown up here and lived here all our lives, and have been waiting for something to happen down there, and that's me. So I couldn't care less from a point of view of I might get something to sell down there. I could not care less.
Mate, there's acres of unused land right on the water in the best part of town.
Yep.
And what do? I think there's nothing. We have markets on it.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but I'm sure the markets can go somewhere else.
They're talking about developing.
Well, that's not even the markets.
It doesn't even have the markets on it.
Yeah, it's got nothing.
It's barren wasteland next to the railway line, which I don't understand what the objection is to it. But anyway, people my age and your age, even, we don't really have a say in what happens down there, apparently, because we're not vocal about what is happening. And I think it's because people of my generation and your generation as well, we just want to see it happen. So there's no point making noise about it when the inevitable is that it will happen anyway.
It will happen. So, it's just a matter of when. Yeah, I think the population, we build stuff down there, getting 900 blocks, population is going to keep going up here. I think the market here, it's always done well long term if you look back over the history, and the last few years has been slow up until end of last year really, but now it's starting to do all right, and I think it'll be a good few years.
And Coffs needs things to attract more people, attract more tourists is another big thing. Like they're talking about building holiday accommodation down there. Like the last purpose-built holiday accommodation in Coffs Harbour, do you know what it was?
No.
Pacific Marina Apartments. It was built
How old would that be?
23 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
Because my dad sold all of that.
Yep.
23 years ago was the last purpose-built accommodation in Coffs Harbour.
In a prime holiday destination as well. Yeah.
Yep. There's been nothing built since then, which is really
Well,
sad.
we don't have enough accommodation. Like when the Oztag's on, mate, and you see the prices of stuff when that's on. There's thousands of people in town.
Yeah,
and they'll pay $1,000 a night for some little bloody room.
And most of the newer buildings as well, they have their strata bylaws don't allow Airbnb. So a lot of those you can't Airbnb either. So yeah, it's I mean, if you ever have the opportunity to buy a unit in Pacific Marina, I'd jump all over it, even though you don't like buying in big complexes. So
mate, if you were going to buy an investment in Coffs, any price range, investment, not something to live in, what would you buy as an investor? Because this podcast will have my audience is predominantly investors.
Yep.
I'm saying to a lot of people, I think Coffs is a decent opportunity now as well. So start looking here if you like.
Yep.
What would you be buying?
And you're right, they don't come up very often. But if you can get something in that $650 to $750 price range, a house on a standalone block, even if it's like 400 square metres or 350 square metres, which is some of the stuff down around like Matthew Street, Cornish Street, down in that area, like the yields on those are awesome. Like
you get 5%,
Yeah. So
right in the middle of town.
Yeah, and you're going to get capital growth because it opens itself up to a broad range of buyers. Like that sort of stuff appeals to investors. It appeals to first home buyers. It appeals to downsizers. So you're buying something that is a saleable asset in the future as well. Like if you buy something that's takes like say you were lucky enough to have $500,000 deposit and you thought, I'll go and spend $1 million and I'll only have a loan of $500. I'll probably get $850 a week rent for it, so I'll have a good yield based on what I'm putting in. Then it's not in the future. It's not as saleable as buying like
in the affordable.
You could buy two bedroom units in Park Beach for $400,000 each or $450,000 each,
get $900
rather than spend $1 million, and you're way better off. So
you pretty much just described my whole investment strategy, mate. Anywhere in the country,
but
buy in the segment of the market that has the most people that are going to buy that in the future. You got first home buyers, downsizers. It's affordable. If the price doubles, it's still affordable. People can still afford it. Everyone can rent it. If there's a market downturn and more people are pushed into the lower price bracket, you got more competition.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it's pretty simple investing, like as in that style of investing, but there's less risk involved in it as well.
For sure.
If you get in trouble, you need to turn around and sell that asset. It's much easier to sell. So it's just sensible. But yeah, between $650 and $750 is the hot price point now.
If you can get it for a house, then you get close to that 5%.
Yep.
And if not, probably have a look for one of those little units.
Yeah.
Good yield.
Yeah. Again, those little units, they're high turnover. They rent pretty easily because it's the affordable side of renting as well. Yep. And sometimes you may not get the best quality tenant in some of those units, but that's changing as well in that sense.
It's harder to be a bad tenant these days. If you're a bad tenant once now, you're kind of done. Whereas years ago, you could probably be a bad tenant everywhere and it wouldn't catch up with you.
Yeah, well, I'm not great either because I don't give second chances.
Yeah.
So bad tenants with us don't.
Yeah. Well, that's half the battle is you have a good property manager. You also greatly reduce the risk of getting a bad tenant. They can't completely reduce it, but it can help a lot.
Yeah.
So a property manager that's thorough on the history of the tenant is going to pick up a lot of things that someone that just goes, all right, first bloke that walks in gets it.
Yeah, 100%. So it's but yeah, I think like Coffs has always been I guess an area that is a smart investment. We've always been that bit halfway between Sydney and Brisbane. Areas on the fringes like Port Macquarie on one side and Ballina on the other those, I always gauge our market on, so Port Macquarie market increased, Ballina market increased, Coffs started to increase, but we're still affordable compared to
Ballina's ridiculous.
like those yeah.
And it's not, I don't know, sorry if anyone lives in Ballina, but I'd way rather live in Coffs. There's heaps more here.
The Northern
There's a lot
Rivers,
more to do.
that whole region though has
You've got Byron.
has had significant growth. I mean, I don't get the whole Byron Bay thing. You pay a lot of money to live there, but it's busy and like getting in and out of there on a Saturday is
You can't get a park, and if you do, you pay $100 an hour for it or something.
You can still buy or invest in Coffs, and you can still go down to a beach here and not see another person.
Beaches are just as good as Byron as well. So, yeah, I think it's a good one. All right, last question, mate. If you could give your 20-year-old self some advice for the rest of your life, what would it be?
First one would probably be I would have started in my real estate career when I was just out of school. And I probably would have that would have helped me get to where I am now a lot faster
Financially,
Yep. And the other thing is I probably would have tried to buy, even though my dad was a real estate agent, he was never onto me about buying a property. As soon as I'd had enough money to scrape a deposit together, I would have bought a property.
Yep.
Like,
good advice.
if you can do that, it can set you up for the rest of your life.
It's ridiculous.
The equity that you can build in a property to buy the next one, like it's
Or to leverage into starting a business as well.
Yep. So it puts that behind you in the sense that, like, even if you buy a property, move into it yourself and get some roommates to help you pay the mortgage, like that's the ultimate. Like, if you can get the money together and show income that you can do that, like that's the simplest way to sort of get ahead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I work in property. I'm a property guy, but tell me another way without putting money into shares. Tell me another way that long-term growth and looking at the future that you can make the same amount of money. And
I'm not going to be the bloke to argue with you.
Yeah, so it's
ridiculous.
It's a no-brainer. I got a 16-year-old son, and he just got his L's, and I was thinking the other day, like, we've got a couple of our property management cars that we'll probably need to upgrade soon, and I was like, maybe he'll probably be watching this too, so maybe I might keep one of those property management cars, and he can have that as his first car.
Does he know this, or will this be the first time?
This might be the first time. But the only reason I would do that is so that he doesn't go and spend money on a car, and he tries to keep that money to look at buying his first property as soon as he can. And I know that it's harder for people now to do that. It's just the way it is.
It is, but 5% deposit, government deposit scheme, 5%, buy one of these $500,000 450 units. You get in with 22, 25, 30 grand.
Yeah.
You're in.
Yeah.
If you can get that, by what? If he starts working, is he working yet?
No.
Okay. He'll start working soon. Is it school?
It's hard for him. I say this, it's hard for him to work. He's at boarding school. So
Fair.
He at the moment he can't really. He has a job when he comes back to Coffs at Christmas time. But it's harder for him to.
So when will he start working?
Well,
he's doing boarding school.
Yeah, so it depends on, like, he's a pretty smart kid as well. So when he finishes school, again, I would probably give him the advice that when I finished school and I went, I'm just going to go straight into uni, I probably would stop and go, I might have a bit of time off, and work for a year. That's
mate, for sure.
That's the other good thing. Yeah. If you finish school and work for a year and earn some income, you kind of get the taste for it as well. And then, from there you can.
Yeah, but if he finishes uni, works for a year, even if it is just 1 year, gets a property, that $500,000 unit, whatever it is, gets in the market, and then goes and travels for 2-3 years or whatever, goes overseas, comes back 4 or 5 years time, his 500K property is now 750, 800.
Yep.
And then when he gets back into a job again, as soon as he's got income, he's got equity to go again and start buying a second and potentially a third.
Yep.
So, yeah, I see it all the time.
And there's always going to be a housing market as well.
Yeah.
Like, people are always like, oh, the housing market might crash. The reality of that is the government is so heavily invested in the housing market now that I don't have any fear that the housing market will ever crash, because
they just keep pouring fuel on the fire.
They're in it now. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine how much stamp duty they collected during COVID?
Well, they're also doing stuff like the shared equity scheme, where they're actually getting equity in properties and taking a 20% stake in it. So they're not going to want the properties to go backwards then, and their balance sheet to have money come off it. It's the last thing they need.
Yeah.
So that's good. So your advice would be to 20-year-old Sean, starting real estate earlier, buy a property as soon as you can.
Yep.
Anything else?
I've probably only, since I bought the business, started thinking about retirement.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone needs to have a plan as to when they want to stop working, because the ultimate is not working, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have, the way to do that is by building passive income.
Yeah.
And you can build passive income through owning properties. So the sooner you can get into properties, the sooner you can stop working and live off passive income. So
it's good. Good advice. I like it. All right, mate. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. And I'll talk to you soon. Probably have you on again sometime.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Sean.
Cheers.